Hi everyone, I'm here today with Jennifer Moore from the Whitehurst campus and Bitsy Bodie from the Bartram campus, and they're going to talk to us about an awesome experience that they had with Outward Bound for Florida educators that was up in North Carolina. So, who wants to tell me a little bit about this experience and what you did?
I can go first. It was an amazing experience being dropped out in the woods, and to kind of survive with my sister was awesome, but we learned a lot of wonderful things. And one piece that I'd love to say about what I brought home of kind of a reward for my own personal self was word usage and how impactful your mindset is and how you think. And one thing that happened to me was my usage of the word should. And we were out there doing the craziest things you could imagine, to the pushing your physical limits to the max. And I was scared, and I would kind of wonder if I could make it through or not. And Gordon would give me these ways to test my confidence in the systems. And we would go through that, and I would make it. And at the bottom of the mountain or wherever I was, I'd go, man, I should have done the full thing. And he would always say to me, you can't use the word should because it undermines everything that you just accomplished. And so I really learned that it's very impactful for how I work with my students or myself, and just confidence. And so the course was, a physical adventure, but it was an absolutely personal growth experience for myself.
And I would say the same thing. It was really, really difficult, and there were many days where you just kind of wanted to sit down and stop, but you couldn't. I think it was the second day I took up a really good tumble. Kind of looked down the side of the mountain and said, whoa, good thing I didn't make it there. And the sister was right behind me, and she comes flying up, and we got up, and we had a lot to do that day. We still had to climb a mountain and go down the other side, and they look at you and they say, you have a choice. You go forward or you go backwards. What do you want to do? And you're like, well, I got to go forwards. So you keep going forwards. And then each thing you have to do, they're like, you have a choice, but you have to test yourself, and you have to keep pushing. We made it through everything we needed to do. So for me, I had done something like this a long time ago, and it was nice to see at my age, and I hate to say that I'm old, but it's really nice to find that I still had the mental capacity to do it. And that's something I think I've taken back with my students. Everybody has a mental capacity to do things. You just have to tap into it and push forward.
Talk to me a little bit about personal growth. Like you mentioned a little bit of where you're coming from, but personal growth, and certainly what I'm most interested in is how our students could benefit from something like this.
So personal growth for me, it was the most, and I have to thank everyone that helped me get to Outward Bound, and then Outward Bound themselves, for allowing me to come home a more confident woman than I could ever imagine. I just remember waking up on the top of Cedar Rock. So we had, as Jen and I can attest to, one of the hardest physical days getting to the top of the summit. And I did not love rhododendron anymore, and I was not very happy. And so you wake up that morning, and it's beautiful, absolutely. And my screensaver is this moment, is the top of Cedar Rock. And again, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. Gordon gave me those choices of steps. And one thing that I am liking to do with my students is incorporate this idea of we all can take steps. They can be different sizes. And so you put yourself in a situation, just keep going forward. So Outward Bound asks you to take your physical limitations and take one more step. And so I found myself on top of that mountain, a stronger woman than I could ever imagine. And I came home saying, I'm just going to keep taking one more step forward. And that was my own personal growth of confidence, whether it's curriculum, whether it's for a student that's struggling, knowing that we all can take that extra step. And Outward Bound is one of their biggest structures was this reflection circle. So I brought that home the next day with my advisory, and we sit in a circle and we start with announcements, and then we do this I offer people a time to share a quote, and then we link arms and we do the pulse, and we do a moment of silence of just, okay, let's go out and have a great day, and kind of trying to bring that feeling back to it. And so I think the Outward Bound structures of how they were consistent really were amazing.
Yeah. Jennifer, if you were given 30 seconds in an elevator with a major donor, and you had to convince them why we needed to send more faculty and students on trips like these, what would you say?
30 seconds. There is a report called The Nation of Hope, and we did some research about it when we were in Outward Bound, and it talks about students not having grit and empathy anymore. And Outward Bound, part of their biggest challenge is to build that empathy and that grit in students, to allow them to combine the two in order to push forward, to be able to do things, but to look at the bigger picture as you're doing it. And I think that's just totally invaluable.
Well, thanks to both of you. That was wonderful, and I'm glad you had such an amazing experience, and I know that it's translating into your work with students. And I just look forward to more journeys like that and having more people go out and do it. And I would encourage faculty and staff, if you're interested in something like this, I'll totally support you pushing yourself in this way as well. So research it. And if you're interested, talk to either of these two ladies or talk to me. And let's see if we can continue to build that into our community more and more. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And as always, thanks for all that you do.